Children, each one of you would have experienced a sudden downpour, while the weather a little earlier was quite bright and sunny. Similarly, after a heavy rainfall, you would have felt very hot. This is all because of the weather changes that we experience in our day-to-day life. The weather is an important part of our lives, influencing what we wear, what activities we enjoy, and even how we feel. What is weather and how does it affect our lives? Let's try to answer these questions through this lesson.
Rohit, close the window. The wind is blowing fast. It can break the window panes.
I have already closed the windows. I don't understand what is happening to Mother Nature. It was damn hot yesterday. We all were sweating badly. And today, all of a sudden, it is raining.
Yes, this rain is expected to last for another week or so.
But why such drastic change?
It is just a change in weather, nothing else. I'll explain to you about weather and its influence on our lives. The term weather describes the condition of the atmosphere at a particular place and time, whether it is warm or cold, wet or dry, and how cloudy or windy it is. For example, the weather depends upon the sun, clouds, wind, and rain. The sun causes most of the changes in weather. Let me first explain to you the role of sun in causing weather changes. The sun gives us heat and light. The heat of the sun warms the earth during the day, so the days are warm. After sunset, no heat comes from the sun. Therefore, nights are cool. The afternoon time is the hottest part of the day. This is because the sun is over our head at noon and the sun's rays fall straight on the earth. It is difficult to walk barefoot at noon. In the morning and evening, we get slanting rays because the sun is on one side of the sky. Therefore, the mornings and evenings are not very hot. The sun warms the earth more in summer than in winter. There are more hours of sunshine in summer than in winter. Take a piece of cardboard. Cut a square hole of 10 centimeters length and 10 centimeters breadth in the center. Hold the cardboard about 20 centimeters away from the ground. A patch of light falls in the center of the shadow. Trace the outline of the lighted patch. Repeat the process again at midday. Again, trace the outline of the lighted patch in the shadow of the cardboard. Compare the two outlines. What do you observe? From the two diagrams shown above, we see that the same amount of sunlight comes through the hole in the morning and at midday, but the area in which it falls is different. We observe that the area is less at midday. As a result, noontime is hotter than morning and evening. The easiest method to understand that the sand can get very much warmer than seawater is to walk on a dry beach in the early afternoon on a sunny day to learn. The sun warms both land and water. The land gets warmed up faster than water during the day. Water is a slow conductor of heat. Thus, it needs to gain more energy than the sand or dry land in order for its temperature to increase. Land also loses heat more quickly than water. Therefore, after sunset, land cools down faster than water. Take two similar pots. Fill one pot with water and the other with soil. Keep both the pots in the sunshine for about 2 hours. Touch the water and sand in the pots. If you have a thermometer, you can record the temperatures. What do you observe? Which is hotter? Now place these pots inside a room. Keep them for about an hour. Again, touch the sand and water in the two pots. We observe that the sand gets warmer faster than water. It also gets cool faster than water. For this reason, the nights are much cooler than days in the desert areas. Formation of air currents. An air current is a mass of moving air. Moving air is called wind. Air currents are winds that move in a river-like flow in a certain direction. Air currents are caused by the sun's uneven heating of the earth. A sea breeze describes a wind that blows from the ocean inland towards land. This breeze occurs most often in the spring and summer months because of the greater temperature differences between the ocean and nearby land, particularly in the afternoon when the land is at maximum heating from the sun. During the daytime, the sun heats up both the ocean surface and the land. However, water heats up much more slowly than land, and so the air above the land will be warmer compared to the air over the ocean. The hot air, being lighter, rises upwards. The cooler air above the sea blows towards the land to take the place of the warmer air. Thus, wind blows from the sea towards land. This wind is cool and pleasant. This is also called sea breeze. During the night, there is no sunlight and the role reverses. The land cools quickly than the sea. Therefore, the water in the sea is hot. The hot air above the sea rises. Cool air from the land blows towards the sea, creating land breeze. Such winds are dry. The areas situated near seas or oceans have moderate temperature and the climate remains almost the same throughout the year. You all would learn about evaporation. In nature also, the process of evaporation takes place. The heat of the sun heats the water bodies of the earth to change it into water vapor. The change of water into water vapor is called evaporation. In nature, evaporation of water from ponds, rivers, oceans and sea takes place all the time. Sometimes it is fast, sometimes it is slow. Let us learn about the factors which affect the process of evaporation. Factors affecting evaporation. Water evaporates faster when the weather is windy. That is why the wet clothes dry quickly on a windy day. Let's do an activity to show that evaporation is faster on a windy day. Take 2 china dishes of same size. Pour an equal quantity of water in them. Place one dish close to a table fan and other away from it. Put on the fan. Observe both dishes after an hour. What do you observe? More water has evaporated from the china dish placed near the fan. Evaporation is faster when temperature is high. Water evaporates faster on warmer days than on colder days. That is why wet clothes dry quickly on a sunny day. Let us do another simple activity to show that evaporation is faster when temperature is high. Take 2 china dishes of the same size. Pour an equal quantity of water in them. Keep one dish in the sun and the other in the shade. Observe them after an hour. What do you observe? You find that the water left in the dish placed in the sun is less than that in the shade. Thus, water placed in the sun has evaporated faster. Increase in area also increases the rate of evaporation. Let's perform an activity to prove our statement. Take 2 handkerchiefs of the same size and material. Dip them completely in water. Fold one handkerchief 4 times to make its area smaller. Open out the other handkerchief. Allow them to dry. What do you observe after some time? You will find that the unfolded handkerchief has become dry. The folded handkerchief is still wet. This is because the area of the folded handkerchief is small. Evaporation is faster when the air is dry. Let's perform an activity to prove our statement. Water evaporates faster when the air is dry. Clothes dry quickly on a dry summer day than on a rainy day. This is because air cannot absorb an unlimited amount of moisture. In a dry day, air has no moisture in it. But on a rainy day, the air has sufficient amount of water vapor or moisture in it. It cannot take more water from the wet clothes. Condensation is reverse of evaporation. When water vapor is cooled, it changes to water. This change of water vapor into water by cooling is called condensation. Let's do an activity to show condensation process. Take a kettle. Put some water in it. Heat the kettle on a stove. Let the water boil. When the steam comes out, hold a steel plate against the steam as shown. We see small drops of water on the plate. This is because of condensation of water vapor into droplets of water. Condensation plays very important role in nature. Dew, clouds, fog, frost and snow are formed under different conditions due to the process of condensation. Let us learn how these are formed. Dew. Look at grass in the garden on a cold winter morning. There are fine droplets of water on it. These water droplets are called vapor, dew. Have you noticed that when you walk on grass early in the morning in winter, your feet and shoes get wet? This is because of dew on the grass. At night, the land and grass cool down. When moist air touches them, the water vapor in the air condenses on the grass as droplets of water. This is dew. Frost. In extreme winter, the earth becomes very cold. The surface water or dewdrops freeze and become frost. Frost is simply the frozen dew. It causes damage to crops. Fog. Sometimes we see clouds-like thing near the ground on a winter morning. This is called fog. It becomes very difficult to see properly nearby things in the fog. You know the particles of dust float in the air. When moist air comes in contact with cool air, it gets cooled. Some of the water vapor in the air condenses on these particles and forms fog. The fog disappears when the sun shines. Rain. A large quantity of water rises from the seas, lakes and rivers by evaporation. It goes up in the air. When it rises very high in the sky, it cools to form drops of water. The tiny drops come closer to each other to form clouds. As the clouds cool further, the tiny drops become large and heavy. These fall down in the form of rain. Hail. When raindrops fall towards the earth and wind is blowing at high speed, it carries the raindrops upward in cold regions. They freeze and become big in size and look like small ice balls. These are round in shape and fall on the earth. This is called hail. The falling ice balls are called hailstones. Snow. When the water vapor freezes in the air, clouds of small ice crystals are formed. These are called snow. They then fall down as snow. It is very light. It looks like pieces of cotton or white wool. It falls on high mountains and hill stations. It is beautiful to see snow falling. Till now we were discussing about various forms of water. Now let's discuss about water. Water is present in oceans, rivers, lakes, ponds, wells, and springs. It is also present under the ground. We get water from rain. When it rains on mountains and hills, the water flows down and carries with it many impurities. So the water present in these places is not pure. It has two types of impurities. Insoluble impurities which can be seen. Soluble impurities which cannot be seen. We want to purify the dirty water before drinking and using it. There are many methods to purify it. Sedimentation and decantation. To separate insoluble impurities, allow the water to stand for some time. The heavy impurities will settle at the bottom. This process of settling down of heavy insoluble impurities in water is called sedimentation. The clear water can be poured into another vessel. This is called decantation. Take some muddy water in a beaker. Allow it to remain undisturbed for some time. You will see that the mud settles down at the bottom. This process is called sedimentation. Pour the clear water above the mud into another beaker. This method is called decantation. Filtration. In this method, the insoluble impurities are removed by using a filter paper. We can also use cotton or gravel in place of filter paper. Take a filter paper. Fold it into halves to make a cone-like shape. Fix a funnel on a stand. Wet the sides and then place the filter paper in the funnel so that 3 folds are on one side and 1 on the other. Now pour the muddy water through the filter paper. You will find that clear water comes out through the funnel drop by drop. This method of purifying water is called filtration. Let's now have a look at the ways by which we can make water safe for drinking. The water can be made safe for drinking by boiling. At high temperature, the germs are killed. The water becomes free from germs. The water which contains germs is called contaminated water. It can spread many diseases such as cholera, typhoid, diarrhea, jaundice, etc. Water should be treated with chemicals like bleaching powder, potassium permanganate to make it safe for drinking. Water which is free from germs and impurities is called safe water. In cities, tap water is supplied in our homes. It has already been filtered and treated with chemicals. So that is all I have to say about the weather and the things associated with it. Hope you would have understood my explanation.
Children, we have thus come to an end on our discussion about weather and its influences on our lives. At the end of this lesson, we were able to understand the factors on which weather depends, the changes in the weather caused by the sun, sea breeze and land breeze, evaporation and condensation, the effects that the process causes, the process of sedimentation, decantation and filtration, purification of water. So the next time you experience rain or sun, remember the lesson. Till then, take care and keep smiling.